I'm not gonna lie, as I was getting prepared to do this video, birds just tore my car up, bro. And I just washed it, and I really don't feel like washing it again because I just washed it. So, you know, a little wipe down, get some of the little spots and specks off of it. I felt like that'd be all right. But I'm probably one of the laziest car owners you will ever meet. I cannot stand cleaning my car, bro. And this is not meant to wipe up here, but we just trying to get this off right quick. So that's that. I don't got no glass cleaner on me, but I cannot stand the way the bird stuff looks, man. So this is what we got. Don't judge me. All right, guys, so we successfully completed Operation Bird Wipe Down, right? But I wanted to ask you guys, y'all ever had rat snakes? I was in the store and I saw these, and then we gonna try them out. If y'all try them, let me know. I'm gonna give you guys a review a little bit later. But like I said, I was getting ready to record this video and I saw it on the car. And quick side note, y'all ever just ride through nice neighborhoods and just look at like all the houses and stuff like that? Cause I'm in this neighborhood and it's like, I just love the way everybody has huge garages, bro. Like, this is like my dream. Like, give me a huge garage where I can store like 4 to 5 cars, and that'd be like my dream house. Like, that house looks like it's all garage. It's like, that's the dream, bro. I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know where I'm at right now, but I wouldn't want to be so ducked off in like the woods, but something like that would just be so, I don't know, man. That's how I want my life to be. That's just tough, I cannot lie. But more importantly, we're gonna talk about how 500 horsepower is not slow, gang. Cause I be making a lot of TikTok videos and I be just be looking on the internet in general. And every time I turn around, I see people talking about a Scat Pack is slow, a stock 5.0 is slow, a stock SS is slow. 4 to 500 horsepower is not 80 horsepower, bro, and that couldn't be further from the truth. 4 to 500 horsepower is more than enough for the average person, and if we being real, I feel like 300 is more than enough for the average person. Thought I saw some stakes for a second, I ain't gonna lie. But like I was saying, bro, people always say 4 to 500 horsepower isn't nothing, and that's just crazy to me, because I've had, before my Z01, I had my M340. They come stock with about 382 horsepower, I believe. And before the M340, I had a Scat Pack. I think it's like 485. I can't remember, it's been a little while. I think it's like 485. And I'm gonna be honest, bro, that was more than enough power. Like, you feel like you can get great control over it. You can have more than enough fun. You do everything you want to do. I personally believe once you start getting above that 500 limit, it gets a little bit different, and I feel like that's where you start to get scared to do certain things and certain maneuvers, if that makes sense. Like I say, I've only had this car for about 2 months, so it's a really new experience to me, and it just feels like a huge jump from anything that I've had before, going from about 500, well, my last car being 400 because it was stock. I didn't tune the 340 at all, right? And so going from about that 4 to 500 horsepower to 650, 700, that's a huge jump, bro. Not gonna lie to y'all. So get a little pull in for y'all, boy. Oh man. But like I was saying, bro, 500 more than enough horsepower. And I've met a lot of people that just kind of jump through horsepower limits, and I'm not gonna lie. Like, I got a friend, he had like a G35, G37, you know, and then he made a jump. Well, I have a couple friends that came from a G35, G37, made a jump to like an M4, Scat Pack, Hellcat. Like, I know people that made some crazy jumps. And the whole thing about that, bro, is you gotta really like learn. You gotta do this stuff in levels and intervals, bro. If you're coming from 2 to 300, I feel like you wanna go to like 5. You go to 5, you might jump to 7. And then from 7, you might work your way up to like 1,000 or whatever. That's what you see yourself doing. That's cool, but you gotta go through the intervals, bro. Because a lot of people are just looking at what they say on social media. They're saying 1,000, 2,000 horsepower GTRs, which is crazy, which makes them feel like when you just look at the numbers, if these cars are making 1,000, 2,000, 500 isn't much in comparison. But people gotta realize that until you've driven 500 horsepower, you don't know how powerful, how quick 500 horsepower actually is, and you don't understand how fast 500 horsepower can get away from you, bro. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't really think about when they're talking about, oh, this isn't much horsepower, this car is slow, that car is slow. Yes, compared to a 2,000 horsepower GTR, 500 isn't nothing. But when you compare it to that 200 to 300 horsepower, you know what I'm saying, or 150 to 200 horsepower Honda Accord that you driving every day, that's a lot of power, bro. And I think a lot of people don't consider that, especially in the social media age where there's so many high horsepower cars on a regular day-to-day basis. I feel like a lot of people don't really sit and really think about it because they ain't experienced it. You know, a lot of people that say that too, at least in my opinion, is like little kids, bro. Little kids tell me all the time, man, the stock ZL1 is slow. Somebody told me I shouldn't get an exhaust, or I shouldn't want my car louder because I don't want a car that's loud and slow. I'm like, bro, when did a stock ZL1 become slow? Where have I been at for a stock ZL1 to be slow? Now, I'm not saying the ZL1 is the fastest car in the world. I'm not saying anything like that. And when you compare it to a 2,000 horsepower car, it probably is slow by comparison, but not because it's slow, only when it's compared to a 2,000 horsepower GTR. Cause this car gets up, man. You can't convince me that it's slow. But I've never driven a car with 1,000 horsepower. But like I said earlier, in comparison, that'd be the only way this car would be considered slow. Not because it's a slow car on its own. You get what I'm saying? I mean, think about it for a minute though, right, y'all? Most of the cars that we see get crashed are in that 500 horsepower limit. Think about it. When we think about cars that get crashed the most, that's gonna be your 5.0 Mustangs, right? That's gonna be your Scat Packs. That's gonna be your F80s and F82s, M3 and M4 competitions. You know what I'm saying? It's always the cars within that 400 to 500 horsepower that you see get crashed the most. Yes, because they're a little bit more affordable than their higher horsepower counterparts, but that's the point that I'm trying to make. Because if 500 horsepower was so slow and everybody could control it, these cars should be so easy to control. But owners think because it's only 500 something horsepower, they can control it so easily, and it's, you know what I'm saying? Or they fiend for more power and they can't even control the car's stock power and so on. So y'all get what I'm saying, man. Only point I'm trying to make, 500 horsepower is quick, and I hate that people call it slow, because until you've driven it and really try to control it, you can't really call it slow, man. And I'm like, people that do a lot of, I guess the racing community has got really toxic as well, just because modern cars are so powerful and it's so easy to get more power out of most of these cars. Like even for like the ZL1, I'm already at 650. Yes, it's gonna cost some money, but I'm not that far from, you know what I'm saying, getting to 1,000 horsepower. There's things that I could do and get me there fairly quickly, versus if I was in a car that has like 200 horsepower, right? It's gonna take a whole lot more for a 200 horsepower car to get to 1,000 than a car that already has 650, 700, or starting at 500. You're already a lot closer than you normally would be. So I get it when you think about the racing community and modding and tuning your cars and all of that type of stuff, that, you know what I'm saying, you can get there really, 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 really fast. But I just feel like the more cars you drive, the more you become appreciative and don't just look at things as a stat sheet and look at stuff on the internet, bro. But everybody's different. I don't really care for 1,000 horsepower cars and really building my car for straight line speed. The most fun thing for me when it comes to a lot of this car stuff, and I feel like cornering and that type of driving is really, really fun to me. And I tell you guys all the time, I'm trying to get more comfortable with the ZL1 so I can really take it to the track. That is my goal. Save up a little bit more money and then get comfortable driving this car so I can drive it on the track without feeling like I'm just gonna spin out and hit a wall or something. I'm not gonna lie, but I am gonna take it to the drag strip eventually. I don't know exactly when they open, but when the drag strip comes back, I am gonna take the ZL1 to the drag strip, and I think that'll be a really, really fun experience, not gonna lie.